Hey, I'm Gareth from Pod Cameras, and today we're talking about and shooting on the Panasonic Lumix G90. It's a brand new mirrorless camera from Panasonic Lumix. Now, this is a really neat little camera because it's a great hybrid between shooting stills and video. It's got great specs for both. In fact, in that sense, it's kind of like a mini GH5. It's got those great specs for both video and stills, but in a small, compact body. Now, I'm shooting it right now, I'm vlogging this part of the video because this is a great vlogging camera as well. It's so small and compact, it's easy to operate one-handed like I am right now. I'm not even using a little grip on it, I'm literally just holding it by the camera. And it's got this flip-out screen so that I can actually see myself while I'm shooting. Now, it flips out to the side, so I'm able to put a mic on the top of the camera. Super handy and super easy. I'm able to keep myself in frame, keep myself in focus, and we'll come back to the autofocus in a minute because I'm not even having to really worry about that at all, but we'll come back to that a little bit later in the video. So let's start off by talking about how it handles for photography. So you've got a 20.3 megapixel sensor in there, and that's with no low pass filter. And the image quality is great. It's actually pretty similar to the G9. It's getting nice, rich, sharp images. And I've been really happy with the stuff we've been able to get. I've been testing it out for landscape and for portrait, and just having a general play with it, and it seems to be really good. Now, it's also got something called a live view composite. It's a brand new feature that allows you to take long exposure composites for things like astrophotography without overexposing ambient light areas. And you can actually monitor the results as they're happening. And that means you can do things like create star trails against the dark sky, even with city lights in the background. But this camera is also great for shooting video, and I've actually had a lot of fun shooting video with this camera. It seems to be a really nice system for doing that. It's actually got some really impressive specs built in as well. So you can shoot 4K at up to 30 frames a second, Full HD 1080p at up to 120 frames a second, so you get that nice, smooth, slow motion. And you've got unlimited video recording time, so there's no time limit on how long you can record, which is really useful if you're shooting events or if you're shooting an interview or anything like that. You don't have to worry about those time limits. Now, Vlog is also pre-installed on the camera, so you can work pretty seriously with video here. In fact, this is the cheapest camera to have Vlog on it. I actually shot most of the footage from the beginning of this video in Vlog so I could colour it in post, and it does give you that extra room for colour grading and a bit better dynamic range as well. Now, you've also got a microphone and headphone socket, so again, you've got options to shoot more seriously. And there's something about how this camera captures video. It is so easy to shoot with because of its size and weight, because it's so small and compact. It's really easy to carry around and shoot handheld. I started off shooting with a gimbal and I switched to handheld and never really went back. And that's another thing about the camera. The footage was really smooth. Just straight out of camera, it was nice, smooth footage. And I noticed it while I was shooting. Now, that's partially down to the 5-axis dual IS, which gives you 5 stops of stabilization for steady video and for sharp pictures at slower shutter speeds. But I definitely noticed that while I was shooting. Now, something else that stood out as particularly impressive was the autofocus on this camera. It just seems to work really well. It's very fast, it's very accurate, and there's a few modes to choose from. So for example, right now, I'm shooting with the face and eye tracking autofocus, and it's just picking up my face just perfectly, no worries, and tracking it throughout the frame. So I don't need to worry about making sure I'm in a certain part of the frame. It'll track me around the frame and make sure I am kept in focus, which is really, really handy. I found that particularly useful when shooting a subject, whether that's video or stills. You've got other tracking methods in there as well, which again have not been slipping off for me, which is really, really nice. They've been working as intended. And then other customizable AF methods as well. Now, when shooting video with a higher frame rates, like say 100 or 120 frames a second, it does move to manual focus. But focus peaking kicks in, and I found that to be particularly helpful. It didn't really cause me any issues. Now, in terms of the camera itself, as I mentioned before, it's small, it's lightweight, and in terms of ergonomics, it's lovely to hold and to use. It has a 2360K OLED LVF, which looks great, and it also has the free-angle OLED 3-inch touchscreen. Now, this was great while I was shooting video, and I found myself using the touchscreen a lot to control different elements of the camera. It wasn't quite bright enough on a super sunny day, but I did make do, and otherwise, it was great. Now otherwise the camera feels robust, and for a small camera it has a really nice deep grip. Some people don't like a grip this big. Personally, I love it. I have quite big hands and it makes it feel solid in the hands. Now the controls are also very intuitive. It took me no more than a few minutes just to get acclimatized to them. And you've got your usual dials along with dedicated buttons for white balance, ISO and exposure compensation. Now there's no joystick here, but you have got the D-pad as part of the scroll wheel on the back, and I never really found that to be a problem. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the video, this really does feel like a mini GH5. You're getting a great video performance whether you're vlogging and using the free angle screen, or whether you're going for something a little more cinematic or shooting something like an interview. You've got excellent stills capability as well, and the new features like the live view composite are great. And it's packaged in this nice small camera. Now if you have any questions at all, pop them down in the comments below. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you like the video, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.